One AFL player won his team the game by scoring for the opposition. Another did a move so dangerous that it broke another player's leg. These are the AFL players that force rule changes. Nothing comes close to the time Mason Wood forced a rule change so stupid it only lasted a single year. It all started in round 7 of the 2016 AFL season, when Wood caught St Kilda player Jack Noons holding the ball with only 22 seconds left. The twist? North were only up by 1 point. And so Mason Wood did what any AFL player would do. He took his full 30 seconds. Eventually the siren sounded and the Roos got their 7th win in a row, boosting them to the top of the ladder. His so-called unsportsmanlike act didn't even impact the game, as he ended up slotting the goal. But the AFL took offence to Wood continuously glancing up at the shot clock while he waited the game out. And so a new rule was brought in that removed the shot clock from the big screen for the last 2 minutes of all AFL matches. But 1 year later, the AFL realised how useless the rule was, and so it was abolished. But the Toby Green rule, well, I don't think it will ever be removed. Round 21, 2017 saw Toby Green deliver a brutal kick to Luke Dowhouse's face while catching a handball from Nick Haynes. It looks so bad that some people might call it attempted murder. For most normal humans, this would be their last time doing such a dangerous act, but Toby Green is anything but normal. The man pushed an umpire for goodness sake. Green would pick up where he left off in the Giants' 2018 elimination final versus Sydney, scaring off defenders with his karate skills and taking easy marks. As a result, the AFL brought in the Toby Green rule for the upcoming 2019 season, bringing in pricier fines and longer suspensions for the use of studs in a marking contest. While the Toby Green rule is fairly new, the Kevin Bartlett rule is the exact opposite, having been created over 40 years ago. In the 1970s, Richmond's small forward Kevin Bartlett found a way that instead of holding the ball, he could win himself a free kick. Just as he sensed he was about to be tackled, Bartlett would bounce the ball, and because he was ruled as not being in possession of it, he was rewarded with a free. Nowadays, a player is called for holding the ball even if they are in the middle of bouncing the ball, and the rule's so old that I didn't even know about it until making this video. But Kevin Bartlett was barely impacted by the rule change, kicking 7 goals in the 1980 grand final against Collingwood a few years later. The rule is easy for umpires to adjudicate, as they know for certain if a player is bouncing the ball or not, but it's not the same for high tackles, which have made headlines for the controversy surrounding players ducking tackles, not looking at any players in particular. Joel Selwood became famous for dropping his knees and attracting many high free kicks during his 16-year AFL stint, but in the 2016 season, he would abuse it like there was no tomorrow. So the AFL announced stricter penalties on players who deliberately ducked into tackles, and that it would be called play on, leading to a lot more holding the ball calls. However, umpires have had much difficulty enforcing this rule, proven recently by Jack Ginnivan having his head ripped off against Adelaide, but the umpire deeming it a legal tackle. Luke Shuey winning himself a free kick after the siren after ducking into a Jared Pollock tackle in West Coast's 2017 elimination final against Port was further proof that it was extremely difficult for umpires to adjudicate the rule. Luke Shuey's duck only won his side an elimination final, but what about if it had won them the grand final? In the highly anticipated 2008 Hawthorn vs Geelong grand final, the Hawks would do the unthinkable, deliberately rushing behinds for Geelong. 11 behinds in total, which they used to help set up out of defence. This would massively influence the game, with it leading the Hawks to a massive upset win over the Cats. For the start of the 2009 season, new rules only allowed a defender to rush it behind if they were under legitimate pressure, and if not, a free kick would be rewarded to the opposing team. The league did this with the hope to encourage open play and create more exciting, goal-saving moments on the last line of defence, and so far it has worked with great success. But I can't say the same about this next rule. Imagine it's round 4 2012. An undefeated Sydney Swans face a 6th place North Melbourne team at home. The headline out of this match? Gary Rohan has broken his leg. How exactly? A dangerous slide from Lindsay Thomas which resulted in Ron going lifeless for a few seconds before clutching his leg and screaming for help. This isn't even the only rule change Lindsay Thomas forced, as his shrugging of high tackles in 2013 led to harsher judgment for high free kicks. What current rule do you think needs to be changed due to a player abusing it? Let me know with a comment down below and have a delightful day.